Galileo was a man of many talents. Talented as an inventor, astronomer, and mathematician, Galileo Galilei was foremost a great mind. This is the story of one of the pioneers of modern thought. Galileo was born in Pisa, then part of Florence, to Vincenzo Galilei and Giulia Ammannati on February 15th, 1564.
Well, one of the most interesting things about Galileo's early life was that he, at the age of 8, his parents moved to Florence and left him in Pisa to continue his education. After 2 years not alone, but like living with his teacher in Pisa, he moved to Florence and finished out his primary school education there. After that, his father encouraged him to enroll at the University of Pisa to become a doctor. Galileo didn't very much like being a doctor, so he switched to mathematics, and well, look at what we have today.
Galileo's strength in mathematics was apparent. He was appointed chair of mathematics at the University of Pisa in 1589, later moved on to teach geometry, kinematics, and astronomy at the University of Padua. Galileo's interest in astronomy led him to improve the basic designs of Hans Lippershey's telescope. He used his telescope to make many of his astrological discoveries, such as the orbit of Jupiter's moons. Galileo's use of the telescope also led to discoveries which made him very unpopular with the church.
The theory of heliocentrism states that the Earth orbits around the Sun, and this is directly in contrast with the Church's views in the latter 16th and early 17th centuries. Now, Galileo was a firm believer in his theory, and he believed that Scripture wasn't contradictory because it was not to be read literally. When the Church attacked Copernicus, Galileo tried to defend his colleague, but they ordered him to stand up. Galileo and Pope Urban began to quarrel, and the Pope told Galileo to censor his beliefs, and long story short, Galileo ended up insulting Pope Urban almost directly. Galileo subsequently ended up on trial in Rome for heresy and was then sentenced to be imprisoned.
Galileo's sentence was ultimately lessened to house arrest. Despite his quarrel with the church, Galileo was still able to innovate in many ways, technologically and otherwise. For example, the telescope. He helped develop the microscope. He also created a basic thermometer using water and air. In addition to his technological contributions, Galileo also did many experiments with physics and kinematics. He is famous for popularizing the belief that all objects fall at the same speed, regardless of their weight. Galileo also did several experiments with pendulums. Galileo even theorized a rudimentary way to discover the speed of light. Two observers would stand with lanterns in opposite towers and record the amount of time it took for the light to reach them. Then, using the distance between the towers and the time recorded, they would calculate the speed of light. Galileo was truly a man ahead of his time. Galileo died on the 8th of January, 1642, at the age of 77 years old, while still living under house arrest. Many of his supporters wanted him to be buried in a mausoleum next to his other family members. However, Pope Urban VIII did not wish this. Galileo was buried in a small room off the Novices' Chapel in the Basilica of Santa Croce. In 1737, Galileo was reburied in the main body of the basilica, with a tomb in his honor.